Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me to stand here today with you. My name is Abanoub Dawood, and I'm a Coptic Christian. In just a few days, the world will remember the 10-year anniversary of the beheading of the 21 Coptic martyrs in Libya. This anniversary holds personal weight for me. You see, 3 of those men were my uncles. It's not easy to speak of this loss, but it's necessary. Their names are written in our hearts. Their sacrifice is etched into the ancient legacy of the Coptic people. For 13 out of the 21 martyrs, the story begins in the village of Al-Ur, where I grew up. I grew up along with Samuel, Mina, and Bishoy. Bishoy and Samuel were brothers. I was especially close to Uncle Samuel. He taught me how to work with his hands. He was there when everyone needed him. The reason Uncle Bishoy and Uncle Samuel went to Libya, and the reason that Uncle Bishoy Samuel went to Libya in the first place was a testament of his selflessness. Uncle Bishoy and Uncle Samuel and his brother wanted to get married, but they needed to raise money for his marriage expenses. But Uncle Bishoy went to Libya. I still remember when I first heard about their abduction. In the days leading up to their martyrdom, the uncertainty, the prayers, the desperate hope that the worst wouldn't come, but yet it did come. And yet, in their final moments, they did not beg their captives for mercy, nor did they waver their faith. They simply whispered the name of our Lord Jesus. They held in their faith till the final breath. In our village, their death was not just a story told in the headlines. It was the feeling of sadness we felt when we noticed their empty spots in the church pews. We're not gathered here today simply to remember, but to stand in solidarity with all Coptic Christians who have endured persecution, for all who have been told they did not belong in their homeland. The Copts are not just people of faith. We're the people of resilience, survival. If I leave you with one thing today, let it be this. There's a war against religious freedom, an ancient war that has lasted for thousands of years. And since the start of this war, Copts have been always on the front line. We have paid the price for this battle with our blood, the blood of my family members, our churches, and our very existence. Whether you remember the Copts or not, the enemies of religious freedom will always remember and target us. In the terrible video where my uncles were killed, the captors called Coptic people the people of the cross, the followers of the hostile Egyptian church. It is true, my people are the people of the cross, but you may ask yourself, how can we be considered as a hostile? Why do the enemies of religious freedom see Copts as a threat? They killed my people because they killed my people not because they were soldiers or because they carried weapons. They killed people like my uncles because they carried the cross. They were targeted simply for being who they were. This is the harsh truth of religious persecution today. We live in a world often forgets about our suffering, whether because it's politically inconvenient or because it challenges the narrative piece that many prefer to believe in. Nevertheless, our survival itself is a form of defiance. Copts fight war against religious freedom through unshakable survival. By the grace of God, we survive. My uncles may not be here today to fight for religious freedom, but through their sacrifice, I'm proud to stand here and tell you we will always survive and never, give up our right to bring glory to Christ's name. This is what cops have done, have always done. We survived, we have endured, and will continue to do so. Simply because the cross we carry is stronger than the swords raised against us. Today, I ask you to remember the 21, not as victims, but as martyrs. Not as names on the list, but as witnesses of faith and warriors of religious freedom. You will not know when you may be asked to fight this war for religious freedom. So I ask you that whenever you can, stand with us. When an opportunity arises, recognize the dangers we face. And above all else, remember that for us, religious freedom is not just a principle, it's a matter of life and death. Thank you.
I've been a United States Marine